Just 10 days to go before the big Pran Pratishta ceremony at the new Ram temple in Ayodhya. And yes, this is an event that crores of Indians are looking forward to. There's a lot of fervor on ground, but this is also an event that is creating a lot of politics in the country. To talk about both of these aspects, the faith of the public that is pouring out, but also the politics that is ongoing on the opening of the Grand Ram Temple in Ayodhya, I have with me President of India Foundation and member of the National Executive of the RSS, Ram Madhav, with me. So thanks a lot for speaking to CNN News 18. Because this has just happened, I have to begin by asking you this. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge, former Congress President Sonia Gandhi and others were invited for this event, and they have announced a decision that they believe religion is a personal matter, and while they respect Lord Ram, they don't want to be part of this event because they feel this event has been politicized and it has turned out to be a BJP RSS event. How do you respond to that first up?
So first of all, we all must remember that Congress has never accepted the Ram Mandir issue wholeheartedly, never accepted it. Right from the time of installation of the idols in that disputed structure in 1949, even at that time Jawaharlal Nehru was very seriously opposed to it. That remained the pinned, this actual soul feeling of Congress. They never really wholeheartedly accepted Ram Mandir there. So I am not really very surprised by their deciding not to attend and all that today, because it was never their choice. So having said it, today they are blaming BJP and RSS of politicizing it. No, my point is, while they never wholeheartedly accepted the existence of Ram Mandir there, they always saw politics in it. That's the reason why when Shilanyas happened in 1989, Rajiv Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, sent their Home Minister because they found some political benefit in it. It was they who always saw politics in it. While the organizers have always maintained that it's a symbol of nation's honor. Actually, they said it's a Rashtra Mandir. Ram Mandir is a Rashtra Mandir, national monument. But always Congress saw it as politics, and they are blaming BJP, RSS for politicizing it.
But sir, Congress is not the only party that is doing it. The left has also refused to join this event because they feel that this has turned out to be a political event, and politics and religion should not be mixed, which is their belief. But is the event turning out to be a political event ahead of 2024 general elections is a question that many are asking.
That's why I mentioned left has certain ideological commitment. I don't want to comment about the relevance or otherwise of that religious, their ideological commitment, because left anyway is an irrelevant force in India today. But, as far as politicization part is concerned, look at the stand taken by the leaders of the movement right from the beginning. Have they ever shown or projected this movement as about any political party? Have they not even this time extended invitations to all leaders of all political parties? Had they decided to make it a political affair, why would they extend an invitation to Sonia Gandhi? Imagine for a moment, Sonia Gandhi and Kharge agree to attend. What would have happened to the organizers had they had only politics in mind? So for the organizers, it was never about politics of the movement. It was always about projecting it as a national honor, symbol of national honor, national dignity. That's the reason why when fund collection happened, they approached, we all were involved, we approached every leader of every political party. And I must tell you, I may not be naming individuals, many people belonging to all political parties wholeheartedly contributed to this temple construction. Maybe private contributions, but out of devotion they did it.
No, even today in the Congress party, there are lots of various voices coming out of Congress leaders themselves saying that this is a wrong decision. There seems to be a conflict within the Congress party of whether they should have been part of it or not.
Oh, Shivani, that's also another very interesting thing about Congress. Right from the beginning, this whole false notion of secularism, as in rejecting the sentiments only of the majority community, namely the Hindus, has always been contested within the Congress itself. I would like to draw much debated, much discussed issue of Somnath temple.
Yes.
Nehru again was very firm in
opposing
opposing
Hindu
the
revivalism.
participation of Rajendra Babu. Rajendra Babu, the then President of India and a tall leader of the Congress, tells Nehru that no, this is the symbol of nations, I mean an independent nation reasserting its cultural and spiritual identity. So that difference of opinion always existed. But Nehru Parivar dominated Congress and they continue to dominate Congress. But I won't be surprised. There will be some voices which are resenting this decision of the Congress.
Do you feel the opposition is missing a trick? Because most of the opposition is either not attending or they're going to not attend. They're going to announce their decision soon. Are they missing a trick and actually making it a BJP RSS event by not attending it? Everybody could have participated in it.
When the question of nation's honor or dignity is at stake, we always believed that we should stand together, united. That's why when 1971 war happened, if you recall, Indira Gandhi took that bold decision of helping Bangladesh. We stood by her. When Pakistan was creating a lot of nuisance at the United Nations Human Rights Organization, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, leader of opposition, went representing the then Congress government. Yes. On national issues, we thought there should be a consensus. But unfortunately, our opposition sees only politics on issues of national dignity, honor. And remember, this is not something that the government of the day is thrusting on the country. It was a product of a judgment delivered by the Supreme Court after decades of legal wrangle, decades of legal proceedings. So, to see it as some ruling party's event and rejecting it shows the opposition's utter political and narrow-minded outlook.
But I think you've kind of touched upon the main issue here. Opposition parties either don't want to accept it or don't see it as an issue of national honor or pride. They see it as a religious event that government of the day or even the Prime Minister of the day should not be partaking in it. For example, the left said it, the Prime Minister should not be taking part in such events. It's a religious event. So there is a difference of opinion still, it seems. Either that is an opposition to the BJP that is in power today, or otherwise, while the BJP or the RSS may maintain that this is about Indian civilization and Indian national honor and pride and history, they don't agree with it. They see it as a religious event.
Except the left, except the communists who have certain ideological commitment to a particular viewpoint. All other opposition, if they're saying that this is anti-secular and all that, it's all utter hypocrisy, I am telling you. They don't mind wearing skull caps, going to religious events of other religions. They don't mind inaugurating churches, masjids. They don't even mind, Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh in the last 5 years, I'm former Chief Minister now, Bhupen Baghel, went on a spree of, building and inaugurating Ram temples in the state, hoping that building a Ram temple in his state would probably bring him back to power. They indulge in all sorts of religious politics when it suits them. So if they talk about whether it is secular for a Prime Minister to go or not go, it is utter hypocrisy. Let me tell you, when Bharat Mata Mandir in Haridwar, Adaraniya Swami Satyamitranda Giriji's Bharat Mata Mandir was to be inaugurated, it was a temple with goddess, Bharat Mata is the goddess. Indira Gandhi was there to inaugurate. She was the Prime Minister of the country. Nehru probably had opposed it in the case of Somnath. But Indira did not oppose it.
She visited many temples.
She always used to visit temples. She always used to have gurus, babas. She used to have darshan of them. Dhirendra Brahmachari was always with her. Many such things. When Ram Mandir Silanyas happened in 1989, Rajiv Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, sent his Home Minister Bhutta Singh to be the government's representative to place one brick there. What happened to your secularism then? So it's all hypocrisy, opportunism.
I think much has been said about the hypocrisy of the warped secularism that is followed in India, which is only for a certain religion and not for other religions. But the larger question here is that while the BJP and the RSS and the Sangh Parivar may present it as a moment of national pride, some other parties don't agree with it. So what is the justification to say that this is a moment of national pride? Why should all Indians care?
Because all Indians cared for it, all Indians see it as a symbol of nation's pride. Bhagavan Ram represents the country's ethos and is the greatest unifier of our country. This is not my statement, Mahatma Gandhi's statement it was. Every national leader believed that Ram symbolized the civilizational essence of this country, and that is why even in Gandhiji's death it is attributed that he died calling Hey Ram. Ram is not merely seen as a sectoral figure here. But today, if some Congress leaders think that Ram is just a small deity of a small people, they are missing the bigger civilizational, cultural sentiment of this country. And Ram is the greatest unifier. He unified us above castes, above religions. The whole country is today standing up, enthusiastically supporting the construction of the temple. Some leaders, of course, they see politics, let them do their politics.
But do you feel that despite the fact that there was a long movement for the Ram Janmasthan, that there was even a long history of decades after decades of legal battle, and ultimately the judgment came via the Supreme Court, there is still a resistance to accept the judgment? Because some people keep harping upon the fact, especially Muslim leaders in the country, that, you know, this is injustice to Muslims, there used to be a mosque there, etc., etc. Like, we are not being able, some people are not accepting the judgment, they're not moving on from it.
Okay, for the time being, probably we have to ignore them, and on the occasion of the installation of Ram Lala there, pray to him that let Sadbuddhi be given to them. But let me tell you, a large section of Muslims, people of other religions, all of them today find in it a befitting symbol of national resurgence, renaissance happening. Even a big section of Muslims, including the main petitioner for Babri Masjid, he came out openly saying that, today I am ready to welcome Prime Minister and all other people coming there on the 22nd. So, not all Muslims also see it as something that they should oppose. But yes, politics, some politicians, among the Muslims also. But why among Muslims? I mean, those who
even
are opposing
Hindus
are mostly Hindus only. So, it is politics for them. But for the leaders of the movement, it was never politics. That's why, remember, 1992 that incident happened. But the leaders of the movement waited for full almost 3 decades, full 26 years for the verdict to come. They did not, I mean, there was Vajpayee government. There could have been an effort to get it done. There was Modiji's government from 14 onwards. But we waited for the court to give the verdict. And when the verdict came, recall what the statement of the RSS chief at that time was. He said, we don't see it in terms of victory and defeat for one community or the other. It is a victory for our dharma, our value system. Let everybody see it that way.
What do you think is the greatest message that Ram Janmasthan has been reclaimed or liberated? Because for many, it was also a symbol of invasions and of foreign invaders subjugating our dharma, as you said, and the native populations. What is the greatest message you think? Because, in the context of history and civilization, this is the first site that has been reclaimed, and it has come via a Supreme Court judgment. The first such holy site that has been reclaimed, where temples were destroyed or destroyed multiple times by foreign invaders.
Not necessarily the first. As I said, the first was the Somnath.
Sure.
Somnath also happened through the same route, through public support, public participation. The Somnath temple was revived. At that time, what Mahatma Gandhi had said at that time, and Rajendra Babu, Sardar Patel was alive until then, they had said, must be recalled, that they saw it in a befitting symbol of the new independent nation reasserting its soul. They saw in Somnath's reconstruction, rebuilding of Somnath temple, an assertion of the national soul of this country. Remember, Ram, Shiva, Lohia writes about it in his book Ram, Krishna and Shiva. He writes that these people did not merely symbolize a sect here. They symbolized this nation's very fundamental soul, civilizational, cultural soul. What today we are witnessing is the reassertion of that soul, that national soul. Symptoms of it are there all over the country today. If you talk to any average person in this country, he's proud about his culture, his civilization. This demon, bhuta of secularism has today now left them today. I mean, I'm not saying secularism as a political principle is wrong. Equal respect to all religions, sarva pantha samadhari is secularism. That's not, I'm not saying that's wrong. But people today realize that you respect everybody, but have pride about your own culture, ethos, civilization, heroes, your dharma. That is what is you witness across politics today. Everybody is today expressing that sentiment. Ram Temple will symbolize that sentiment. That's why I said it is going to be the greatest unifier of this country, because let me end by saying this. Swami Vivekananda had described this country in a very beautiful phrase. He called Dharma Prana Bharata. Bharat's soul is Dharma, that value system. And that value system is represented by people like Rama, Krishna. These are representatives of that value system.
You know, you mentioned how Somnath was the first such site to be reclaimed, but it happened without any legal wrangles, etc. You know, we didn't have to go through much wait post-independence to see that reconstruction happen. Unfortunately, there were other sites like Ayodhya, Mathura and Kashi that didn't see the same kind of resolution come in or solution come in post-independence. So out of those sites, Ayodhya is the first one. It is coming via Supreme Court judgment. Why is this judgment and this reconstruction of Ram Temple important, you think, for Indian civilization and for, you know, Hindu Dharma, as you said?
So, as a dharmic civilization, it has had its very important, significant symbols of its civilization, its culture and all. They include these three places largely. Ayodhya, Mathura and Kashi. So, when the Ayodhya movement was at its peak, when negotiations happened between the Hindu side and the Muslim side under Chandrasekhar and those times, there was a lot of debate. This was pre-Babri structure demolition I'm talking about. There was, a demand that, okay, there are thousands of such places in the country which faced demolition during the Mughal rule especially. So, at least these three should be returned to Hindus. There was a demand at that time. Subsequently, things happened. Demolition of Babri structure happened, then the matter was taken to the court. After that, the leaders of the movement focused their energy or their attention only on the Ram Temple. I think the leaders of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, their focus is on completing this project. Ram Mandir is now, Pran Pratishtha is happening, but temple construction will continue some more time. They will focus on that. Now, what will happen to Mathura and Kashi? Now, there is no movement for them as such today, but there are matters before the court. Let the legal aspect be examined. Let courts do their due diligence. We will see what happens.
You're making a very important statement, because generally the public seems to believe, and there's been an apprehension that has been voiced by the minority community in India also, and some leaders, that, you know, where will this all end? Now, Ayodhya has happened, legal matters are ongoing for Kashi and Mathura. You're saying there is no movement for Kashi and Mathura? Not as far as the RSS is
Where is any such movement announced by any organization today? There are court cases. There are matters are before the court of law. But otherwise, no organization has now announced that now we will now do this, do that. Right now, matter is before the court. The Ram Janmabhoomi movement leadership is focusing on this project of completing the construction of the Ram Temple there.
The focus will not shift on Kashi and Mathura now?
No, I won't answer the hypothetical question. What will happen after 5 years?
This is resolved. So, what happens to Kashi and Mathura? No movement for that?
So, those matters, some of those matters are before the judiciary.
Sure.
Right now at the local judiciary, there is a process. Courts will have their own view, then matters can be taken up, there can be discussion. But I am only saying, nobody has announced any movement as such today.
So, this is a little bit possibly a reassuring statement that you're making, because there is a lot of apprehension that now, you know, similar things will happen in Kashi, similar things will happen in Mathura. What would you like to tell to people who are apprehensive about it, that where will this end? And we don't know whether it will still end only at Kashi and Mathura. Like you said, there are thousands of places, nobody can be stopped from going to courts.
First of all, we should not start looking for names for our children before we actually got married. You know, we are right now talking about Ram Mandir. Let all of us come together and see in it the resurgence of our great symbol of our great national honor. Let's do that. That goodwill itself will address all other questions. Why are you not ready to show that goodwill? For this, this great grand national project, national monument of our honor, Ram Mandir we called it. You are not ready to even show that much respect or that much goodwill to it, and imagined concerns you start raising today. That's not correct. Let whole nation come together, celebrate this great Diwali, I mean second Diwali that we will be celebrating this year. That itself will generate so much of goodwill in the country, which will address all other concerns.
But your opposition always criticizes the BJP and RSS for using religion for politics. Particularly the sentiments of the public, the Hindu sentiments.
So I already answered that question. As I said, when it suited them, they used religion for politics, right, left and center. In this country, all the blame for communal politics squarely lays at the doorstep of the Congress party. They played the worst form of minority politics in this country. They did not benefit minorities. They actually caused more harm to them. They pushed actually into a ghetto. They were pushed into a ghetto. And today, they blame BJP is ridiculous.
But what do you feel is the current status of quote-unquote secularism in India? Do you believe that secularism of the way that was followed by Nehru, etc., is now being rejected? Both in Indian polity and by the Indian public? What is the future of secularism in India?
Remember, secularism as a political philosophy, let us first of all understand, it's not the same all over the world. You know, in France, secularism means complete rejection of any trace of religion. It should not come anywhere near the politics. That's French secularism. But in UK, if you are going to be the king or queen of that country, you must be an Anglican. Not just a Christian, any Christian. You have to be an Anglican Christian. Is Britain a secular country or not? Go to America. Every president, when he takes the oath is taken with a bishop standing next to you. Your hand on the Bible. Okay, there is freedom to put your hand on Gita also. Then take the oath. Is America secular or not? In the name of the Bible, you take oath. We take the oath in the name of God, but with hands on the Constitution. I mean, India's secularism should be equal respect to all religions, no special treatment to anybody, no appeasement, no special treatment. Let us treat everybody with due respect, equal respect that they get, equal opportunities to everybody. In that sense, a true secularism should prevail in this country. We are for it, not the pseudo version of it, which was in practice for many decades after independence.
So this is the first time that we've had 10 years, consecutive years of a BJP government in power. Do you believe those 10 years have made that irreversible change now, that we won't go back to that kind of a warped secularism of minority appeasement anymore? Is that time over, or if the governments were to change, you think we'll reverse back to that trend?
Look, as far as the country is concerned, we all feel it also. I mean, when I say we, even probably you will all be, media people also will be feeling it, that a great grassroots transformation has happened in the last 9-10 years. Today, an average man on the street in our country feels very proud of his civilizational, cultural identity. That's what is forcing leaders like Rahul Gandhi to declare his Gotra, display his Janevu. Why are they doing all this? Because there is a grassroots feeling of pride about India's culture, civilization, its identity. That will impact India's politics forever. It should have happened immediately after independence. But Nehru was a person in different belief system. So we traveled in a different direction for many decades. But thanks to the efforts of Prime Minister Modi and this government, we have come back to our original self. That's why I'm saying we are reinventing and reasserting our own civilizational cultural identity. I think this will be the best guarantee against the dangers that you mentioned, whether that kind of divisive, communal, minorityist politics will come back. Maybe if this country's sentiment remains like this, they will never be able to come back.
Okay. I do want to ask you a final question, since we are talking because of the Pran Pratishtha event that is taking place. Personally for you, How satisfying is it to see this day come to light?
Oh, like any other Karyakarta of our movement, millions of our Karyakartas have actively participated in this movement, contributed in different ways. I myself was there, many others, thousands and thousands of others were there. And this reaching this culmination, and today we are able to have the formal Prana Pratishtha of the idol is greatly satisfying to people like me. But as I said, especially for me, it's not just about the religious significance of it. It's important. Religious significance is important. But more than that, the kind of response that I see across the country, my work takes me to all parts of the country, even abroad. The kind of new vigor that I see in the people of our country, the Bharatiya community, irrespective of caste, religion. Today there is huge upsurge of pride about our culture, our nation, its past, its history, its identity. That gives me immense satisfaction, because when we worked in RSS, we worked for that purpose, to reinvigorate the sense of pride in our culture, history and all that. That we see, that gives us a lot of happiness.
Well, it has been quite a tumultuous journey. It has been a movement which of course will be studied quite a bit as we go along in history, but the dream is finally realized. The Ram Temple is a reality in Ayodhya, and the Pran Pratishtha is going to be taking place on January 22. The Prime Minister is going to be there. Ram Madhav ji, thanks a lot for sparing your time and speaking to us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hello, Moto.